tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the premiere show of the originals titled Rebirth. I am your host, Cortez West, and I have some beautiful, beautiful other hosts with me today. I'm kind of excited. I'm the only testosterone in the room, but I mean, it doesn't matter. But anyways, I have the lovely sitting right next to me,
Tiona Hobson. Hey, guys.
Hi, Tiona. It's good to see you, girl.
It's so good to see you.
She's new to the panel.
I am
Yes,
new
she
to the
is.
panel. Yay for me.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Hi guys, I'm Roxy Striar, and I'm not so new to the panel, but I'm very happy to be back. Thank gosh we're back from this hiatus.
She's my little wolf.
Isn't that just so sweet?
That was so nice.
But if you heard that voice, that is the lovely, our special guest for today, the wonderful Natalie Dreyfuss.
Hi, guys.
I had to pause on that,
Yeah.
Dreyfuss. I had to make sure I had that correct.
Yeah.
Hi, Natalie. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You're so beautiful in person.
Oh, she
Thank
is.
you.
Yeah.
I saw you say that little wolf comment, and it warmed my heart. We were just watching the show, and Phoebe's character is called Little Wolf, and she said,
Yeah.
I just want someone to call me Little Wolf.
Because isn't that the cutest
And
nickname?
she
It
made
is.
her wish come true.
Yeah, that's why but I'm still single.
I'm stepping up the testosterone at the table. It's doing a good job.
Wow.
Thinking though it's going to be hard to figure out what we should call you while you're sitting here because you have so many names.
so
You are
many.
so many different people.
Oh, my character?
Yes.
Yeah, in life I just have the one.
I know.
Just call me Nat. Wait, do you hate when people call you that?
No, I like it.
Oh, really?
It makes me
Okay.
feel like you know me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So when I see you at the Grove somewhere, I'm going to say, Nat!
Yeah, I
Don't
was
be
like,
like-
hey.
Like,
They'll be moving around like,
hey, you weird guys. It's going to be my name like
I
you
know,
know
right?
me, but you
You
don't.
probably won't recognize me because every 3 months I have a different
hair. I was
Yeah.
going to say that because when I saw your pictures online, I saw nothing but long
Yeah,
hair.
when people Google me, they're like, who are you? Because I always look a different person. Even, like, close friends will say, like, they'll see me and be like, hey. I'm like, oh, hey.
Why do you
Wow.
change your look so much for shows? Or
Yeah,
just
it's work. I mean, it's, you know, for fun as well. But usually, like, there'll be a job that, like, was a big heartbreak. I didn't get it. And I'll be like, I'm cutting all my hair off.
Yep.
And then I'll start anew, and then, you know, they're like, okay, well, this witch is brunette. I was platinum blonde when I
Right.
started the originals.
Really?
Yeah, like platinum blonde.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So that was a big change. So most of my close friends have no idea who I am.
But I like the short look. It looks good on you.
Yeah. I think
And long.
the most surprising part for me was that you don't have an accent
Yes.
right now because...
Why?
Because on the show, it's like, I don't know, you sound,
Different.
you sound different, and there's that
I
slight
try
accent
to be
there.
that. Yeah, well, I'm playing a 2,000-year-old woman.
Yeah. So,
She's
So
ancient.
and she's British. So the woman that played her before me is British. So I'm like, so I had to kind of decide quickly.
You decided. Or
Yeah,
did they
what I
decide?
wanted to be. I do a lot of this. I don't know if you see when you
Yeah.
watch the show. I'm kind of always holding.
Very proper.
I feel like this is what Esther does. That was my own decision. That my hands are always a little bit like this. But yeah, I usually play a teenager, and I'm not a teenager in life, so this is a nice break.
You do look very young, which
do,
is great
yeah.
for
Yeah.
casting purposes. But
great.
now
So I've
being a
been
2,000-year-old woman is a little different for you.
It is very
you're
different.
playing much older.
I'm playing much older than any human, and it's fun. It's nice. I try to be more proper in my speech.
Right. Let's just do this for this.
I know, right?
And in honor of Esther.
I feel like I'm in a choir right now.
So before we go into your character as Cassie P, I feel like I'm in a hallway. Before I go into your character of Cassie P, I know I wanted to talk about your other two shows. What was it? The Secret Life of American Teenagers and what is it? Two Broke Girls. So talk about your characters on that show.
Yeah, I did Secret Life. I was on their last season on ABC Family, and we finished a few months before I started the originals, and it was just a great experience. Again, I was playing a teenager, teenage prostitute.
Oh gosh.
That's my specialty. So I think it's fun to play a teenager, but this is, like I said, a nice break. Getting to play an adult when I look so young is really a cool thing for me. And I didn't actually know that I was playing an adult until I was on the plane to the originals. Oh, yes. So that was a cool realization. I auditioned originally with Davina sides.
Oh,
so
wow.
I had no idea. They keep it very secretive. And then I just did an episode of Two Broke Girls. It's just one episode. A guest spot playing frenemy of Beth's character on that show. And it's a live show, so you shoot in front of a live audience, which is my favorite medium. I
would love that too.
Yeah, I did that for a couple years. In 2008, I did a Lifetime series called Rita Rocks, and since then, I've been dying to get back to my roots, which is live comedy, and it's so rare. And I got a chance to do that again over at Warner Brothers this past month, and it was so fun.
Okay.
So you're a big Warner Brothers fan these days, and they're helping.
I really love Warner Brothers. Yeah, Peter Roth, I love you. Yeah, but it was great, and the cast was super sweet. I know you said you were a big Beth fan.
Yeah, a little plug for our producers here, Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro. They're very close with Beth, and she was actually in their movie Adventure of Serial Buddies, which you guys should go check out. It's available on Amazon, iTunes, all over the place. Maria's in it as well. It has an amazing cast. It's a really, really funny movie, and Beth was in it. She's been here a bajillion times. She's such an awesome girl, so like you were saying, it's such a small world that everybody's kind of connected in a certain way.
Yeah, we're all one step away from each other, but she's awesome and so much fun to work with. We had a great time, and both her and Kat Dennings were incredibly welcoming and kind, and you never know when you get to a new set what it's going to be like. Both of those girls were incredibly nice, so it was just like, my mom knows, like, she's here with me today. She knows that, like, I was on cloud 9 that entire week. I had the best week.
And you said something similar about going to the original set, saying that everybody was so awesome to work with, which is great to hear, because obviously we're such big fans of the shows. I love hearing that in real life they're awesome people too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mostly work with the boys, but
your children, you mean?
My children, my sons.
Yeah, your sons.
Is that from being the teenage prostitute, or no, that didn't carry over? Okay.
This is
and then now vampires / ancient vampires.
Right.
Surprisingly, I'm working with more men now that I'm 2,000 years old.
Wow.
But they're my babies.
Your babies.
They call me Ma.
They call you Ma on the set, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Ma.
Hey, Ma. So I have my 4 sons, and they're all just more handsome than the next one. They're just like the coolest guys, and 30-something gorgeous men.
Well, you don't have to be on set to see how beautiful they are. I mean,
it's not a bad gig.
Yeah, no. I don't feel bad for you. I'm not sitting here feeling any.
I'm kind of feeling envy towards you right now. That's what I'm feeling. Those are my feels.
You want a white oak steak?
I want to white oak steak you right now and take over, or maybe I'll just like inhabit your body like a traveler or something.
Like everyone else does?
Yes.
Well, speaking of white oak, let's just jump right into it. The main scene that comes up is one of my favorite characters before I met Natalie today. By the way. Rebecca is reading to the baby.
Aww. Okay, guys, I just get so nostalgic every time I see Claire Holt. Like, I can't deal with the fact that she's not with us all of the time. Obviously, she's one of my favorite characters on the show. I've said that from day one. I'm coming over from Vampire Diaries. Now we're on Originals. I love her. I think she's amazing. So the fact that we opened with her and she's doing this, I was like, yes!
I was ecstatic, yes.
Yes, here she is. And later on we can talk about some news and gossip about her, but I was very excited to see her tonight. And it was really sweet. She was talking to Hope, and she's saying...
The King Story.
The King Story.
I call it The King Story. Was that the name of it? Or I don't even think there was a name.
Well, it was
just
no, that's just you. You made that up.
Yeah, that's just me. Boom.
But
Hashtag
it was
The King Story.
Writing credit.
Loosely based on true events about her father.
And by loosely, you mean actually what happened.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, if you think about this baby's life, baby Hope, Hope is born into the world, and 30 seconds later, Hope's mother has her throat sliced. So that's a win for Hope right there.
Yes.
And then now Hope's good night stories are tales of her parents and what all of this horrible things. I'm thinking that Hope's going to turn out to be a pretty screwed up kid.
She's young. I mean,
Someone
let's
to
get
be-
you know,
Hopefully she won't remember most of this.
maybe she'll be okay. She's got a lot of loving people around her.
But we talked about last
And her name's
season.
Hope, so
That's true.
Yeah.
There's
That's
hope.
true.
There's
But,
hope.
we did talk about last season. We didn't really know. There was all of this hype around this baby coming out. We didn't know if this baby was going to come out and be like Benjamin Button. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't know.
That's your imagination. That's amazing.
We really,
You should write a show.
we run wild here. So we didn't know, is this baby, or what's going to happen? Is this baby going to come out and like be Wolf? Or be, we
Right.
really don't know.
Yeah.
And we still don't know much about the baby.
Yes.
It's a mystery. I wonder how much of the baby we're ever going to see this season.
Right.
I guess it depends on how much of Rebecca we're going to see.
Yeah.
That plays a point, but I think we're going to see a lot of Rebecca because
Should I
of that.
tickle torture it out of you?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
She's like, nope, I'm not saying anything.
So next we see Elijah meets with I call it the Francesca's goons, which he finds out by the ring. You see, so they're trying to buy this building that we turned out and realized they was really using that building to get back at Francesca.
Well, that didn't come until later.
Right, but we
they're-
found out. That's what I just said. See how you do?
Yeah, but they are there with these rings. There's the 12 rings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was gruesome. I know we're not there yet, but I can't mention the 12 rings without seeing the image of the hand getting sliced off.
Well, forgive me because I thought I should have gone back and watched like the last 3 episodes of last season before I watched the
tried.
premiere.
So much happened.
The
so
story
much.
is so dense. I mean, we have someone on set that is just there to fill in all of those gaps in our mind where we're like, wait a second, what is this aspect of this part of this story? Because
Right.
it's so convoluted. Like you have to know everything from Vampire Diaries to come into this new show. So it is. I mean, you can go back and catch up, but there'll still be things that
Yeah, I missed.
I mean, the
Yeah.
creators are so into this world. Like it's just a very interesting process.
That's what I love so much about our fans, too, and the
Yeah.
fans of the show. They know everything.
Everything.
Which
Yeah.
is why we do feel comfortable coming on here and saying that, because they'll tell us, they'll be like, you know what you missed?
Yes.
And then they'll give us a whole,
Right.
all these things, because people are watching the show on repeat.
Right.
On repeat over and over and over again. I watched the episode twice. There are people out there who have watched it now 20 times.
Right.
And it just aired last night. So it's insane.
The feeling on set too when you're working, we're very like collaborative, and if someone catches something and you're like, you know what, 6 episodes back you said this, and I don't know if you remember, but like everyone's we help each other out a lot, and we're like,
Right.
I don't know if you'd react that way to me, like especially for my character. Now I'm playing the mother, and I was explaining that to you, that I have to have my relationships in my head as an
Individual.
actor with each child. So with Claire's character, I haven't met her yet, and now with all my 3 boys, I have to figure out which character, what were they like as kids? What was that like for me raising Elijah? What was that, what was he like as a child? And that's a really interesting thing for me. So he'll help me out with that too. And he'll be like, in the past I've been this very stubborn person, and that maybe this is from this aspect of my childhood. And so that's really interesting. We have to go all the way back to that time period with this family.
It's not just one backstory you're creating. It's like a whole...
Yeah, and you want to be faithful for the fans.
I got a lot of grief on last season about me not watching the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that about you.
I was
Yeah.
just about to ask
Well,
you
we
if you
wanted
saw it.
Oh my goodness.
We wanted Cortez to come in fresh, though, because that's why we wanted him to come on as a host, because
And-
we wanted to see if somebody could be a standalone fan of the originals.
I think
Exactly.
you can, because
And he
I did.
is.
And it was only because of Netflix, but still, there was nothing else to watch, and I was like the originals. And I like vampires. Every Halloween, I wanted to be a vampire. So I watched it, and I just fell in love.
Yeah.
And I still have not watched the Vampire Diaries because of the comments from last season.
No, it's
I
because,
promise you.
I love that you are an originals fan.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's why I was like, I'm not gonna watch it. I like the fact that people are coming and said, Cortez, you should go back and watch this because da 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 da. And when they say certain things, like what was the name of the book last season? Some book.
What the which book?
Yeah, yes. I can't think of the name of the book.
I don't know.
Anyway, so they let me know about little things, and it helps me to understand different characters on the originals. So
But I think I agree. I think you can, as a fan, you can come in and watch the originals without having all of the backstory of Vampire Diaries and still enjoy it because it's really focused on this family. And I think that's nice for people to know too. Like, you don't have to have binge watched Vampire Diaries to come in and watch the originals. You can just start fresh.
Good. See, don't hate me anymore. Don't give me any more
No
bad.
one hates you.
Nah.
But now, so we go in and we see Klaus is having a fit. I think maybe because he's in hideout, he was trying to find hobbies to really occupy his time.
I think he's going stir crazy just like
Yeah.
Francesca is.
Yes.
You know, he's trapped inside. Klaus's initial thing for everything is to retaliate.
Yes.
You know, that's his first instinct is to go like do something evil to someone after they've wronged him, you know. And you have, you know, his brothers telling him, no, let's lay low, let's figure out like our plan of attack. We're going to come about this smart, which I mean in the long run pays off, you know, but for Klaus, this is so anti against everything that he usually stands for. So, you know, it is frustrating
That
for
goes
him.
back to like his childhood stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like as his mother.
I love how you fell into that. I love it.
And I'm kind of a maternal human being anyway. I just want children so bad.
Oh,
So
gosh.
playing a mother is just so fitting for me. But yeah, when I like honestly, when as an actor, I came into it and I was like, how does that relate to what was it like to raise him? Was he always that kid? And yeah, I think he was always that kid from day one. And later in the season, you'll get to see some flashbacks of them as children, and that's going to be really fun because you get to really see how they came to be the people that we know and love.
Yeah, because I remember flashbacks of Klaus. when
Exactly.
he-
And he's always been that kid. He's always used violence and acted out. And Elijah's always been much more conniving and wait, let's do this the right way, and and that's always been their relationship.
I love the flashbacks on the show. I've
remember
always
the-
loved the
yeah.
flashbacks.
Do you remember the flashback when, because Klaus and Rebecca were very close when they were younger? He gave her a horse, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong with that, but when they were younger, he gave her something, and that's when his father attacked him in the woods. Remember, like beat him in the woods.
We're going to
and
see
Elijah.
a lot of that
Yeah.
scene coming up in this season.
Right.
It's a really intense moment for the whole family, that scene specifically.
How is Klaus on set?
Joseph
Yeah.
is such a kind human being. Like, he's an incredibly gentle, well-spoken, sweet man. And I was telling you guys when we were watching it, I was like, he's always at this intensity.
So
like,
cool.
it doesn't matter if it's 5 a.m. He brings it every take, every time. He's always doing it.
In character.
Even when, we do a lot of off-camera stuff. So let's say the camera's behind your shoulder and you're him. He's still giving me exactly what he would give me if the camera was on him.
Right.
And every single time he's that committed to this. He's an incredible person to work with.
That
And
helps
fun.
you out, though.
And yeah, it's super helpful for your own coverage, but also just as an actor, he'll give you new stuff, and he's playing my son. So he messes with me like he would mess with his mom.
awesome.
So we have this cool relationship, and I'll mess with him too. Like, I like to do that. Nothing will throw me. So I'm like, yeah, bring it. I'm like, go to your room.
I want to go back to what you said, though, about that scene being very intense, because I'm curious now. I'm a little bummed when we have flashbacks, you're not going to be you.
Right.
Because you're going to be Esther, as Esther, who's also great, obviously. But
Yeah.
is that strange for you to watch somebody else film something that is your character?
It was strange for us to meet each other, for sure, playing the same person.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool because, it's just like any other character that anyone else has ever played before, that you now get a chance to put your input and your stamp on it.
Right.
As an actor, that's fun for you. And I think seeing what she's done with it, a lot of that kind of hand motion and whatever, being very proper and trying to change my voice a little bit from how I normally sound, that comes from trying to do her justice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So we go in and we see Marcel and Cammy together. What do you all think about them still being together?
I know I'm new to this panel, and I don't know how everyone feels, but the character of Cammy, I've never been a fan of.
Everyone says that. She said that last season as well.
All right, just making
Yeah.
sure. Roxy and I usually are on the same wavelength, but I had to get that out there in the open.
Well, she's
Here's
not
the
one of my
thing.
children, so.
She's gonna let us talk about her.
Here's the thing about her, and I said this the entire time. It has nothing to do with the actress.
No.
I don't understand the character. I don't understand. I don't
What
feel
is
as
it
if
that
she,
you're not getting?
I don't feel as if she's moving the plot forward, and so sometimes I'm like, what exactly is she here for? I keep waiting for something.
I think you're gonna be more satisfied this season.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Because it's almost because she was the only human. Everybody kept just like messing with her. And
Yeah.
I was like, I want her to be tough and awesome. And it wasn't that she wasn't those things. It just I didn't see why they wrote her part.
Well, I think part of it was mainly for the premiere episode. For one, it built you up to be that way, because I remember you writing her out. You were just like, okay, she's gonna be gone.
I thought
She's
she was
about
gonna
to
die.
Yeah. I remember you writing her
Yeah.
out. But I remember also in this premiere, she also helped them with getting the rings.
She did, and
Yeah.
she is being more helpful. I also think another reason I don't like her is because I'm coming over from Vampire Diaries, and I am so obsessed with #Clareline. So that's Klaus and Caroline. I'm so obsessed with their relationship.
You have said that a lot today.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
you have.
I love them. They're like, I love them so much. I mean, if you could do me a favor and tell your son that he needs to go and find Caroline,
Go
then
back
that
to
would be
Mystic
cool for me.
Falls,
Thanks.
get her, bring
and
her
then
back.
invite me to the wedding. That would be really nice. But anyway, I
I might be able
love
to do that for you.
I love them together, and I see sparks between Cammy and Klaus. I do. And I know right now Cammy's with Marcel, which I much prefer. Because I don't want her to be with Klaus. I want Klaus to be with
They
Caroline.
have
I
some
get it.
steamy scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a nice way to wake up in the
When
morning.
they come in the morning.
We did my first table read with the group. Charles was not in town, so he was on the phone when they were doing those like love scenes. So he's on speakerphone, and they're like doing this very intimate scene.
No.
Like over, it was so funny. I was like, what is happening?
Wow.
Yeah, it was
And
really
that's
funny.
your welcome to the show. Okay.
Where Marcel ends up asking about Klaus. At this time, Klaus is still in hideout, and then she actually mentions to him about Davina. Davina's back in school
Right.
and trying to live a regular life. She left the pack.
Exactly. So about the Klaus thing, just for anybody who didn't go back and rewatch, just to refresh everybody's memory. So although Marcel helped Klaus get his baby out of town, the reason that Klaus let Marcel help him is because Marcel agreed to then be compelled to forget that the baby was actually
yeah,
alive.
alive.
So anybody who is like, well, I thought Marcel knew, he helped. That's why. So Marcel was compelled afterwards and doesn't know that the baby is still alive.
Okay, thank you for that.
So, yeah, sorry, keep. No, because it gets to be confusing because you're like,
Yeah.
wait, I can remember this part, but I
Right.
don't. So he did help, but then he was compelled. And so Cammy and Marcel really don't know what's going on with Klaus. We also saw last season this scene between Cammy and Klaus. Cammy comes to Klaus. He's sitting and he's like crying at the bar because he really is mourning because although he didn't lose his child did not die, he did lose his child.
Oh, yeah.
And she comes and she says what she says, and he says, you know, we can't be friends, and I did lose my child. So neither of them know what actually happened. Which brings us to where we are, which is why Cammy and Marcel are like, what's really going on here?
That's true. But
Like, why hasn't he gotten revenge?
their relationship to me is just, it doesn't click. There's no chemistry. to
Marcel
me.
and Klaus,
No, Marcel and Cammy.
Marcel and Klaus are the best bromance. of
Yeah.
all time.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
was just making sure he wasn't talking
Yeah, I
about
wasn't talking about
was
Marcel
like,
and
wait.
Klaus. Yeah, I
Marcel
actually
and
like
Cammy.
them together.
Okay.
Every time Marcel and Klaus were on the screen together, you were like, oh, I love them together.
Oh.
Oh, I love them together. It's so cute. It was so much fun watching with these guys. Like they're so sweet, and like they really love the show.
I
It's so
really
much
love
fun
it.
to watch it with you guys.
We
I
have
love
to
that.
pause it and stuff because we get so animated, and
Yes,
I'm like,
we do.
we're screaming,
Like,
and I'm like, shh, I can't either. I
Okay,
can't.
let's catch up on what that was.
Yeah,
Where was that key? Was it in
Right.
her, was it in her mouth? I'm like, no, it was on the wall. She's like, all right.
But I always
got
pick
it.
out a line that I knew that the writer threw in there just for you to go, wow. He like when he told her.
yeah,
to
you
get,
were like,
I was like,
That's true. Are you
Sorry,
having problems
Roxy
drinking?
just took a sip of her water and completely missed her mouth. I don't know.
It's fine. Just make fun of me. I always take that role.
That was
you
hilarious.
You're now drenched.
I'm literally soaking wet.
I have like a mom instinct. This is I'm like,
I love it. Stay in character at all times.
I
love
know.
It.
I'm very motherly. I think.
Wow. So now we know that Davina is doing okay, trying to live a regular life. She goes to a record store. She's into rock music.
I just
now,
have to say, Danielle is the sweetest.
She looks.
She is just the cutest, sweetest person.
I just keep calling her a munchkin. She's just such a munchkin. Like, I just want to.
She's the warmest. Like, oh, she was just so cute. As soon as I got on set, she was like, "Welcome." It's just so kind. And
You
that
said
just
she's the
makes-
youngest.
Yeah, she's
She's the
just
youngest?
that makes
Wow.
all the difference when
Yeah.
someone treats you like that. So I just think it's always nice to be like, "Hey, world, this girl's incredibly sweet and good.
And talented and beautiful. So.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, those two things are.
So at the record store, I see that she meets Joe. Well, she doesn't meet Joe. She
meets the Caleb. Yeah.
Oliver?
We're not.
No,
Oliver,
not this time at the record store.
But the guy who works at the store, Joe. Oliver came in and actually let us know who he was, but I forgot. So who he was?
Oliver was part of Cammy, or...
No, I know who Oliver was.
No,
Oliver
Oliver came in.
Haley's
So
pack.
Oliver
Haley's
basically
pack.
came in. Joe's behind the counter. Oliver comes in and he shows pictures, basically saying, "I know you're a vampire and you're not allowed to be here.
Got it.
And I'm gonna kill you."
So Joe now understands that his life, as he knows it, is over, and it's kind of a sad episode because you know that we've loved that character and he's been there for a long time, and you know we now have to realize that he's giving up his life. He's like, I've had a good run.
We are
he says that.
picking off
did,
Marcel's people.
Yeah.
It's really hurting me.
Well, even being on the set, you know, every week someone's gonna go. Mm-hmm. So every week you're like, on it. Like, it's such a nice place to work. You're like, oh man, you know, like, I hope I don't get bit today. Like, you never know. You know?
Right, and of
Or
course,
stabbed.
I love when shows aren't afraid to kill people off because then it does keep us on our toes. But like you're saying, you know, you fall in love with these characters and then they go.
Well, you never know. That's the fun thing about supernatural work, and I've done supernatural stuff before. Like I did True Blood, and there's so much leeway with being able to come back. You know, there's never a real ending to anything. And so, you know, when you go to work on something like that, you know, be the best version of yourself at all times. Always, like, you know, be caring, be kind, be hardworking.
Because then they're going to want to ask you back.
Yeah, be happy to be there while you have the chance. And then, you know, you might be able to get back in. And it's great. And everyone has that attitude there. And we're not all completely overworked either because, you know, there's so many storylines and then there's so many rotating characters.
That's good to know as an actor as well. So
Yeah,
thank you for that.
it's really nice. It's just such an unexpected thing when you walk in. We shoot in Atlanta, and most of the time I've worked here in LA, and I was born here. So getting the chance to travel for work is really interesting. And then when I got there and realized that this family of people is so kind and fun, it was just such a relief. So, like, I have to get back on a plane and, you know, leave my life and I never know how long because they don't tell me how many episodes. So, I'm going back and I don't know when I'm coming home, and it's like, that's fine. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to go.
How do you pack for that?
Yeah, it's hard. Like,
Or you're shopping for jeans, though, remember?
I know, you go buy new stuff, exactly.
Right.
You figure out a way to do laundry, basically.
I know, right?
But I usually bring like a half-empty suitcase and come home with like 7 suitcases, you know, because I've been shopping on my days off.
We're going to get right back into it, but I want to ask you this. Speaking of traveling, when did you find out that you were playing Esther? That you were going to be Esther?
Yeah, like I said, they keep things very quiet. So I was reading the script on the plane on the way to Georgia. So that's when I found out.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I had very limited amount of time to get caught up on like everything that Esther's ever been through. But luckily, the fans are so loyal and dedicated and passionate about the show. There's a wealth of information online on fan blogs just about every aspect of these stories. So that was really simple. Everything, there was clips and like all kinds of relationship information and backstory that I could access on the plane, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
by the time I landed, I'd done 8 hours of research, you know, just on what I was going to be playing, and I was super excited. And they handed me a lot of you know, Vampire Diaries CDs or DVDs that I could watch, but I was like, no, I'm caught up, you know, and they were like, oh, great, awesome.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it didn't work. I was like, yeah, I'm super excited to be here, and really, every day I'm like the little puppy on set. I'm like all excited to be there, and
That's good.
I love this job.
Amazing.
I love people that love their jobs. It's really nice to hear.
We're so lucky. Yeah, we're so lucky to be able to do this.
Wow. So the next scene we see you as Cassie with Francesca. So at this time you're playing the side to be on Francesca's side. Would you have your own plot?
Yeah.
Actually.
So I'm always Esther, but I have to act like I'm Cassie.
Yeah.
So as Natalie, I'm acting as Esther as Cassie.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's a fun thing for my brain. But yeah, so I'm
It's
trying.
like Sudoku.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of. It's a mind puzzle. Yeah, so with the Francesca character, I want everyone to believe that I'm Cassie. I'm just a teenage witch that was resurrected.
Got it.
And it's a really powerful place for Esther to take over this town. She can get in with everyone because no one has any idea who she is.
Got it.
So basically what I'm taking from this is everybody has their plan and nobody else knows each other's plan.
Basically, yeah.
So you have your plan, and now we have Klaus and Elijah who have their plan, and then the wolves. Marcel has his own plan with Josh, kind of, and then the wolves have their plan, sort of.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. It's just no one knows that there's, first of all, me throwing a wrench into things because I just look like a teenager.
Or Michael.
Like, okay, we're not worried about this teenager. And then we have Michael, who no one knows is locked up there.
Right.
So, yeah. And then there's a couple things like the White Oak steak we mentioned earlier that throw wrenches into things because...
We mentioned it when I asked if she was going to stab it into
Stab
you.
me because of the handsomeness of the men.
Yeah, of her sons. Which
In
I guess
my
I don't
job.
want you. I don't want to be you because I want to be with your son.
You don't want to kill me as Natalie. You want to kill me as Esther, as Cassie.
Oh, you could be Haley because she's been with both sons. Does that help?
Sometimes a good bloodline is a good bloodline, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's my bloodline, I know.
So
You did
answer
some good
this-
work there.
Thank you.
So answer this for me. Okay, so I see why Cassie is with Francesca, right?
Right.
But I don't understand, and maybe you guys can help me out, because I know I'm not the only one that did not watch Vampire Diaries. Why isn't Vincent with you, along with Francesca in the whole ordeal?
Well, if that scene in the pilot or in the first episode when I'm in Francesca's house, I walk out and Vincent's right there.
Right. So I was wondering, is he a part with Francesca, or he's just your...
I don't think it would make sense.
Okay.
I think it would be suspicious if Vincent was part of that team of people because the only reason I'm there is because she's using me as a witch to find the stake.
Because she thinks that you're...
me to cast a spell and find it right away because she wants to know where it is. So she thinks that she's using me. I'm actually there to take her down.
Right.
So at this point, what powers do you have?
Which powers?
I'm pretty
Do you
much
have all Esther's powers?
Yeah, I'm pretty much one of the most powerful people there.
Right.
I created vampires back in the day. The whole story behind Esther, I don't know if everyone probably knows this, but the basic story with Esther is that one of her children passed away when they were young, and she was so devastated by that she created a spell to make her children immortal. And it was out of love that she did this, and she created these monsters and ended up making vampires and then making them into vampires, and they developed a thirst for human blood. So at this point, she has realized that she made this mistake and kind of cursed the earth with these vampires and needs to correct it. So everything that I do as Esther is out of love for my children, and it's just I know that I've made this mistake, and if I could just take down my own children, then everyone who's sired to them is also going to be taken down. So in my mind, I could wipe the slate clean, wipe the earth clean of everything that I did to it if I could just take my children down.
It's so interesting because you always hear different actors and actresses and coaches, whatever it is, say that in order to play a role, you can't judge it. You have to really feel as if you're living in it. And we look at Esther as kind of a villain.
Right.
But
I don't.
You don't look at Esther as a villain.
Yeah, I honestly don't. Because I mean, I understand where she's coming from and that she did everything that she did out of love, and she's going to fight really hard to explain that to the kids in the next coming episodes because, she's really, and I honestly believe her. I get it. She was devastated by the loss of a child, which I can't imagine. And I have such that maternal instinct anyway that I understand it. She was trying to protect them, and they turned into these incredible monsters and have caused just havoc on the planet. So she's trying to do right by them and fix this now. So this is her best bet, is to hijack Cassie's body and hide in a teenage body so no one knows that it's her.
Where does her relationship stand with Michael?
We don't know.
Oh my God, you're in my head.
Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah,
I was going to ask that too.
We really haven't dealt with that, honestly. And I, Sebastian plays Michael, and we were staying in the same hotel, so we had dinner and we talked about it a little bit. But we really haven't dealt with that, and I think her main focus is not about Michael at all. It's really about taking care of the kids. Yeah.
I don't mean to put you on the spot. I just wonder because
yeah.
cause
I feel like they're
it will come
after the
up.
same thing.
Yeah.
We wondered too, and we were wondering if we would get a chance to meet.
I think it's inevitable.
Yeah,
I think
so
it
we'll
is.
see. We'll see.
Well, I
I'd
hope
love
it
to
is.
see that. After all these centuries,
Plus, I'd love
Esther
to work
and
with
Michael.
Sebastian because he's awesome. He's so cool.
Seems it.
Maybe that's what you're going back for.
We'll see. I know, but I can't say.
We'll see.
Wow.
We'll see.
The tickle torture's coming. Just you guys wait.
So after you get with your son Vincent, who's actually Finn, you let him know that if, Francesca's actually she's on her scary toes right now. She's scared.
Yeah, it was a fun scene to play because I was in there, and I'm trying to act like I'm scared of her, and then I walk out and I'm like, she's unraveled.
as your
Poor
arms
baby.
were, you were like this walking.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
It was kind of hard to walk like that. You know, when you're working, once you make that choice, you're stuck.
You're stuck. Exactly.
So every time I walked, I had to walk
walk
like
like
that.
that.
And they were like, can you walk 6 times as fast and talk 6 times as slow? And I was like, sure. It was so awkward.
Wow.
So you
That's
watch
amazing.
those things and you're like, yeah, that looks as awkward as it felt.
Regretting that choice now.
Regretting that immediately.
So we go in and see Cammy actually being followed by Francesca's goon. Why? I that was a question I wanted to ask. Does anybody know
I think
why?
because Cammy is always like she was the pastor's niece. She
Well,
clearly
because-
and they know that she's been going across the river to see Marcel probably.
Well, what happened was they came in and they wanted to know where the White Oak Steak was,
Right.
and they find out that the last place the White Oak Steak was with the
With
father.
the-
Yeah,
okay.
but even
The
before
priest.
that,
The priest.
they were following her on the street too. Even
Yeah.
before we got to that,
Exactly. That's
like
what I
when
was
she was
wondering.
coming back from Marcel's.
Oh, when she gives the coffee to them, you
Yes.
mean? And she's like,
At
"You
this
got to be
point,
kidding me!"
Francesca's kind of running the town, so she's got eyes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
and she
think
knows
that's the idea.
Yeah, and I think that she knows that since she knows about vampires and werewolves, she's in on the whole secret, and she's human, and just kind of make sure she's not going to get out of
Covering all
line.
aspects.
You got to make sure. And she's also paranoid right now because she doesn't know what Klaus is doing.
We haven't
She's
seen it yet.
unraveling. Poor
Yeah, she's unraveling.
We haven't seen it yet, but my guess is, because I keep asking why is she here, my guess is that Cammy is more dangerous than we've seen so far. I'm thinking that people are catching on to the fact that she's very smart. And so they want to have eyes on her because she does have all of this knowledge, and she also had that whole room
yes.
of the,
Weapons,
the
right?
ninja weapons.
Yeah.
It was literally that ninja star,
Yeah.
whatever it was. I mean, she's got power.
Yeah.
She's not a vampire, she's not a wolf, but she's got power.
Yeah,
As a
and I
human,
think
yeah.
it's important for the show too to just have a human anchor, somewhere in there. I think that's her role, is to there's so many beings now. We have werewolves, we have witches, we have vampires. Like, we need an anchor for the audience to get some perspective, I think.
Absolutely. We do the exact same thing on Vampire Diaries with Maddie Blue Eyes. So we've always said, we need that human element, number one, so we can relate, because I can relate to some of the emotions of vampires, but I can't relate to wanting to suck somebody's blood. That's just, like, not my MO. Maybe some of yours.
I mean, what do you think's in this cup right now?
Yeah.
Just human blood.
I was thinking gin, but no.
Nope.
No, human blood.
Human blood.
Absolutely.
Right here.
Wow.
Just don't spill.
Okay, right. You got your mouth? There you go.
I
me
think
clean up
it's
a little
also
bit.
just like seeing someone who doesn't have powers. Like,
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of people that have the ability
Yeah.
to do all these crazy things. I don't know. That's
It's
kind
still
of
our Earth.
Yeah, like, we have to see what it's like to be powerless in the center of all of these people that have that. I don't know. I think that's kind of an interesting aspect.
So I'm starting to like
Absolutely.
Cammy a lot more. But she goes to see Klaus's, go to try to find Klaus, and no luck, but she finds Elijah, which is one of my best scenes, because at that time when we were watching it, you told us about how they were doing the tapings with the whole, like, when Klaus would be behind her, but not really, and she turns around, he's not there. So how did they take that again?
Oh, you were excited when they do the quick motion.
the quick,
when,
yeah.
like, whoosh.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was laughing. I was just saying that it's funny to shoot that kind of stuff, that just giving you like a little behind the scenes. But
We love the behind the scenes.
I know, right? That's why I was like,
yeah,
oh.
because you have to actually walk that, and then they fast forward it.
Yeah.
So it's we're just walking.
They put it at, like, times
it,
a
doesn't,
thousand.
it doesn't feel cool at all when you're there.
So you
it
don't have
looks
power.
cool,
Or
but it
like,
doesn't.
yeah, or whenever I do a spell, they bring out this really awesome old camera. They actually use an old camera that clicks, and it shoots. They run it forwards and backwards, and they just have such interesting ways of doing this. So every time you see those spells where everything kind of gets crazy looking,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
dizzy
talking about?
and
It
all
goes
that,
to
yeah.
that weird thing, and anytime you do a spell, so like you're speaking in tongues, and then they're using that kind of old-fashioned camera, which is an actual like vintage camera.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's not an After Effect. That's interesting to hear.
Yeah.
I thought it would be an After Effect as well, but it's not.
The other thing that I don't know why I found this to be so fascinating, but that you told us, and I hope you don't mind that I'm saying, is about the candles. About the candles.
Yes.
So, I mean, she's telling us that there's a person on set, because we see candles in every single scene. There's a person on set whose job is candles. Yeah. That is their sole
Instead of the
purpose.
candy lady, it's the candle lady.
They just, because candles are very difficult to work with.
Yeah.
First of all, for continuity purposes,
Yeah.
you have to make sure they're at the same level.
Yeah.
Second of all, they have to be lit.
Next time you watch the show, just like pay attention to how many candles are in every single thing. Lit candles, they're everywhere, especially in the graveyard. There's 3,000 candles.
That's
it's
so
insane.
awesome.
Wow.
And it's so beautiful. Like sometimes I'm just watching the show and I'm like, oh, you guys, like being there is so cool. And
the sets
sets
too.
are beautiful. I mean, they did such an amazing job. They're pumping in smoke and candles. And my first day, which is why I asked you guys to play Thriller, when we came out, they said, what song should we play? And I said Thriller. And he's like, Michael Jackson? I'm like, yep.
I did the same thing. Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
She said, she's talking about you.
Yeah. Oh, me. Oh.
This happened like 40 minutes ago, sweetie. It's
Because I did
okay.
the same thing as yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
We love you, Cortez.
I have a funny story about that actually, because that was my first day on set on the season finale when I'm crawling out of the grave.
Okay. Yes.
They have the whole cemetery built in Georgia, and they put mud all over me, and I was barefoot and pumped in all of this. It was fog, but it was freezing cold. I think it might have been like dry ice.
Right,
and then candles everywhere. And they wanted me
Thank
to
you,
kind
candle
of,
lady.
I wanted to kind of zombie walk out, like real cool, like zombie walk, and they toned it down a bit. They're like, all right, calm down, sweets.
We like what you're bringing to the table,
Right.
but...
We see your enthusiasm. Take
You're
it
at
down.
a 10, I need you at a 2.
But it was my first take, and I don't know these people. I'm new on set, but I'm super goofy as a person, so I'm like ready to like zombie walk out. And my first take, Thriller, comes blasting on the thing, and I'm like, I have to do the dance.
Right, exactly.
But I'm on camera, like I don't want to ruin the take, but I'm like, come on. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And the director Matt Hastings was like, yeah, I like to. I was like, yeah.
I love that.
I hope that comes out on the DVD blooper reel.
I hope so.
AfterBuzz
It was
TV
so funny.
exclusive.
Like the things that went through
See?
my head, I'm like, I can't ruin this, can I?
I know,
Because
right?
it's my first day, and I'm supposed to be. I gotta do it.
You
We
thought
gotta
you were
do it.
Michael
I don't want to
Jackson.
get
They're
fired.
blasting it. What are we doing? It was
Yes.
really funny. That's the set. It's very like
They were testing
fun.
you.
It was a test. It was like, how fun is she gonna be? And I'm like, oh, I'll play. I will play.
Wow. So back with Cammy and Elijah, she actually notifies Elijah that basically you all should get back with Marcel on the other side of the river. And of course, Elijah dismisses her.
Right, so they have been separated by this, the fact that where they are, but now that they're going to join forces, we've really got a whole motley crew on our hand. I mean, there's nothing crazier than Elijah, Klaus, and Marcel joining teams. Mm-hmm. That's what we want to see all the time.
Yeah, and I love how they, went through with their plan. Can we just get to that part? Because that was like the highlight. Because I loved it in the season premiere. We didn't have to wait for answers with what was going to happen with Francesca.
That's
they got to it. They went out there. They did what they needed to do. They kill her. They get rid of all these werewolves.
Right.
And you think everything's great and dandy, but you know that Esther, as the audience, we know Esther's there. We know Michael's in an attic with Davina. We know all these other things, but I just love that we didn't have to wait for answers with Francesca and that she's gone because werewolves,
Best.
man.
With storytelling, it's like when you see that there's a plan in motion, like the audience just wants that satisfaction. And I really like that about this show.
They give it to us.
They'll
Yeah.
give it to you right away, and then they'll surprise you, and they'll be one step ahead of you. Like I love that in the writing because a lot of times when you read stories and you're like, I know what's coming, just get it. Like, come on, do we have to wait 3 episodes to see her die? Like really, like get to it. And it's scary as an actor when you're there because you're like, oh, not me this week, because you never know. But at the same time, I love that about the storytelling. The writing's really
That's good. So we go straight into them actually getting to the plan. Like they are really at it and they're going against Francesca's and her. I call them goons. Sorry, against her goons and getting these rings back.
Yeah.
And we get to see Klaus getting stronger.
He gets stronger, and not only that, but we get to see Haley get her satisfaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not really.
Well, what she
This
wanted.
is gonna be
Right.
her
And
satisfaction.
then we get the answers with you that not only are you with Finn, but you're also with Cole.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cole
is
coming
like-
out of nowhere. What?
I know.
I brought them with me. My 2 baby boys. I hid them in new bodies.
So
But
do you
you
just
know what?
like them better?
Were you
You like
sta-
them better than the other 2?
I love
Were
them.
you standing on the box for that scene
Which scene?
when you were
Oh,
when he came in?
In the end?
Yes.
I don't think I was. No, I didn't have an apple box. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was
Did I
like,
look
Good
like
she's
that?
things
really
come in
tall.
small packages,
I
okay?
Because you
go, girl.
delivered, you delivered a long little,
My little
good
monologue.
little monologue right there. Yeah. that's
Yeah.
what
You're
I was
ready to
gonna say,
go.
point.
You're ready to go.
That was my first scene that I shot, and it was such a cool set because it was super dark, and then they have 7,000 candles,
Right.
and it was there. That's like the witches, I forget what they call it. It's not a coven, but it's a room where there's all these like herbs and salts and all these antique bottles, and the props are beautiful. So then you're in this place and you're like, yeah, I'm a witch. Like your body
Damn
just
right,
goes right
yeah.
into it. You're like, well, let's make some moonlight rings.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could do this.
It's really fun.
You probably feel like you actually have the powers.
That's
You're
my
like,
favorite line, that scene. Daniel's so funny that's playing Cole. He walks in. I say to Vincent, well, at least you're not stuck in the body of a teenager. And
Right.
then Daniel walks in and says, I love my body.
I know, right?
And hey, he's
Every
not the
time-
only one.
Every time I burst out laughing because he said it, he just, even in the table read, the entire room just started busting up laughing because he says it with such like a cocky confidence. And I'm like, it's so him too.
He's going after Davina.
Yeah.
He's getting in with Davina.
I didn't trust him from the start.
It's
Wow.
me, guys. It's me.
I know,
It's
right?
you.
I'm planting my seeds
And
in
you
all
want
of
to
the
do-
aspects of the story. I'm like, you go get Davina,
Mm-hmm.
like you go get Cammy, and you go.
I'm
I'll
really
take
looking
care of the
forward
boys.
to
I
it.
think that the worst part of this after show for me right now is that hearing you talk about Esther has made me like her better as a person,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't want to like
wanna like
Esther
her.
right now. But then the thing is, everyone on this show, if you're a fan of Vampire Diaries, you know that Klaus and everyone there, they were bad guys on that show, and we're
we love
over
them.
here rooting for the bad guys. There's no real.
It's all gray.
Good.
It's all
over
gray
here.
zone.
It's all gray over here now. But now
I
but
love
I'm like,
that you said that.
Yeah, I'm like,
I
There's
know.
a
I'm
lot-
like flabbergasted over here.
There's a lot more coming with like Esther's story, and she'll really fight them on it, and she'll be like, boys, like, do you not see how much I love you? Do you not get it? And it's really cool. I love
let's
that.
just all be a happy family living together, Mom.
Let's just all die. Just let me kill you.
Let's
It's not that big of a deal.
I don't want a suicide pact right now, Mom. I just want to live.
I know.
I'm sitting here
Classic,
thinking
typical
about. I'm thinking about last season when I said I didn't like Klaus anymore, and I got so much. Like,
Oh, no,
people,
you don't-
Klaus can't die. Klaus can't die. And I was like, he's evil. This whole time I kept saying
Well,
he's
no,
evil.
Klaus has always been the bad guy, like, from Vampire Diaries over to here, but over here you are rooting for him because we know this family now and we want them
That's what's
to
so
survive.
Fun. You
And
want to see where a villain comes from.
Yeah.
In any story, you're like,
Right.
how did you become a villain? You know,
Right.
like what happened to you?
Okay.
Like even just like they just did Maleficent. You know, like they want.
Yeah.
Like, why is she so evil? Why is she so mad all the time? Like no one's born that way. That's the same kind of thing. You want to go back in time and be like, what happened to you?
Wow.
And we get to do
And we
that
do that
in
with the
season
Flashbacks.
2.
I
which
know,
is
right?
really cool.
Well, let's go into predictions, and maybe we can squeeze some good information out of Natalie.
We'll see.
Taking you down to get something out of you.
Tickle me, guys. Why is that-
It's a tickle torture. I do have a
Threatening
little
me with tickles.
I guess it would go into predictions, but some gossip that's coming
Rebecca,
up.
yes.
Yeah, first of all, the fact that Rebecca might be coming back to the show permanently. There are rumors out there. We can't really say anything because nothing's confirmed yet. Let's just stare at her until she tells us
right.
the truth.
Let's
we
write
don't
to the
know.
writers.
But the thing we do know, and I know this because of Vampire Diaries, is that Nina is coming over to the originals for episode 5 as Tatia, who is the original person that both of the brothers, Elijah and Klaus, loved. So she's coming over for an episode.
Did you know that, Natalie?
Those are my baby boys.
She knows everything.
Relationships. I'm tight-lipped about them. As any good mother would be.
And she's
Wow.
not going to pick a favorite ex-girlfriend of theirs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm very, very excited for that crossover.
They need
Good, thank
they
you.
need to die.
Thank you.
That's my point of view.
My boys need to
They
die.
My
have a
boys
prediction?
need to die.
I guess my prediction is just that I know Francesca's out of the way now. We've got rid of the Guerrera werewolves, but I think that, leaving Oliver alive, I feel like the werewolves are going to come back and try and take back over the city again. That'll be my prediction for now. Because Oliver, we let Oliver live. Like, he's going to not come back with that hair.
Oliver causes problems. That's his role.
Yeah, he's a bad boy.
I think that's a pretty good prediction to predict that he would cause some problems.
I see you trying to let us know something over there.
He's just a problem. Chase is just a problem.
I don't know. Is she trying to steer us in the right direction?
I know, right? I was just like,
wrong. I don't know.
Well, I think with Haley, I think that she's about to like run away. I feel like she's just fed up with everything and just gonna run away. Because even when she killed Francesca, she was not satisfied. And she still felt like, what did she say? I feel like I'm being a vampire. I'm one of you. And that's not the point of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like she's going to like stray away somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like Davina still is going to kill Michael. I already said that.
There will be blood.
Well, it's going to be interesting too, her dealing with the loss of her child in having to give up her child and as a new mom, what all of those emotions, like, we got another mom on set now.
Yeah, I know.
Competition.
Maybe there'll be some discussions between the two of them about what it's like to be a
was
mother,
your grandchild too, so
a mother in need. So there's some of that coming up. We'll see.
That's a little bit of an exclusive. We
know,
got
right?
something. I was tickling under the table. You didn't know.
All right, well, Natalie, tell us a little bit. What are you working on right now other than originals?
Well, like I said, I go back next week, and I just finished Two Broke Girls, and which was really cool because I got to do a comedy in between my supernaturalness. But other than that, I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things before I leave again. I feel like I'm always on an airplane.
Wow.
I just went to Europe during my little my little hiatus for my first time, so that was really cool.
Yay.
I took my mom and my aunt and my family friend and went to Europe. I went to Italy and France and
awesome.
That's so
London,
awesome.
and it was really cool. I got to. I think it was from working with all of these guys. They're all from different parts of the world. You know?
Yes.
A lot of them are from London or New Zealand or France, and just in talking to them, I felt this urge to see the world, and it was the first time I've really felt like that, and I really attribute that to them. Me and Sebastian had dinner once, and he's from France, and he was like, have you ever been there? You seem like a French girl. And I was like, really? Like, you do? Sebastian. And I just got it into my head that I wanted to go to Paris after that, and I knew that I had this little break coming up, and I really wanted to take advantage of that. And so I got to do that. That was really cool. And
Well, it was so much fun having you on the show today. Thanks for adding AfterBuzz TV to that trip.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And please come back.
It was so fun to watch it with you guys because you guys are so passionate about it.
Thank you.
And thanks for giving us all our tidbits.
Yeah.
A lot of cool behind the scenes stuff.
That was really fun.
With our $500 remote.
I know. They have a very fancy remote here.
Like, what can we find you at on social media?
It's my name at Natalie Dreyfuss and Twitter and Instagram.
Easy enough, people. Roxy, where can we find you, love?
You can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar.
Right.
We make it easy.
And you can find me everywhere at the Tiona Hobson.
Wow, that's it? Everything?
Yeah, everything.
Oh, wow. Well, you can find me on all the social medias at Cortez G West. Look us up. Make sure you also follow AfterBuzz TV as well. I'm sorry, at AfterBuzz TV.
Thank you
Thanks
guys
for watching,
so
you
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.